An F-35 fighter jet fired 6 missiles at the Iranian embassy in Damascus in an attack that neutralized the commander of Iran's Quds force in Syria and Lebanon. Meanwhile, the IDF's efforts in Gaza City's Shifa Hospital have resulted in high-quality intelligence for use in future operations, and some of it is so amazing I'm actually afraid to publish it. Finally, the IDF has informed the NGOs and humanitarian organizations operating in the Strip of Gaza to be prepared for the evacuation of Rafah. I'm Yair Pinto, and this is your Boots on the Ground report about what is happening in Israel on the 179th day of Israel's war with Hamas and Hezbollah. Since the outbreak of the war in Gaza, hundreds of air and artillery strikes on Hezbollah and other Iranian-supported terrorists in Syria and Lebanon have been attributed to the IDF. But the one that rocked the El Meza neighborhood in Damascus yesterday overshadowed all of them. According to foreign reports, at around 5 p.m., 6 air-launched missiles hit a building adjacent to the Iranian embassy in Syria, leading to dramatic results. It was confirmed that senior Quds Force officer Hassan Mahdawi was neutralized, along with several other senior Iranian officials. Although Israel did not take responsibility for the assassination, according to the reports, the target was a secret meeting of senior Iranian intelligence officials from the IRGC Quds Force and senior officials of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad terrorist group. According to the Iranian ambassador in Syria, 2 F-35 fighter aircrafts fired a missile at a building belonging to the Iranian embassy in Damascus and adjacent to it. There are other important buildings in the area, such as the El Ghazi Hospital or the Canadian embassy, which is 10 meters away. Therefore, a particularly surgical attack was necessary, with minimal collateral damage. Indeed, in the documents from the scene, it could be seen that whoever damaged the building did so in a precise manner, which left the adjacent embassy building intact and did not damage other nearby buildings. The building that was attacked actually served as a military headquarters used by the Quds Force, which is the international arm of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, even if it supposedly belonged to the Iranian embassy and enjoyed international protection. The big story here is that the IRGC Quds Force General Reza Zahedi, 73 years of age at the time of his death, has been removed from the battlefield. His career began when he commanded forces of the Revolutionary Guards back in the Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s. In the course of the time, he became the driving force behind the creation of the Lebanese-Iranian-Syrian front against Israel. As a person with a lot of experience, he is the one who outlined the way for the future struggle on the northern front, and in fact, the attack on him is also a warning sign for Hezbollah in Syria. Israel will neither confirm nor deny that it launched this attack, and there are many other parties in the region who might want to take out Zahedi. In any case, the attack, which was carried out in broad daylight, revealed that Iran is using diplomatic structures to produce and direct terrorism in the region, thereby also endangering the safety of diplomats working in close proximity to the Iranian embassy. The operating pattern of using diplomatic assets to export terrorism is not new to the Revolutionary Guards, but an attack on their operations in broad daylight is something new, and it is evident that they did not believe it would happen. They did not take any precautions they usually would for a high-level meeting like this. The powerful and precise so-called Israeli attack is part of strengthening the Israeli deterrence that was damaged on October 7. It was meant to send a message to Israel's enemies and its friends, as well as its own people, that we might have been caught off guard once, but we're fully awake now, and our enemies shouldn't try anything foolish. These Israeli actions have put the Iranians in a difficult position. On the one hand, they will need to respond to this attack on one of their most senior field commanders. They might even take the usual step of taking action themselves instead of hiding behind their proxies as they usually do. But if they do that, or if they strike too hard, they invite massive retaliation by Israel and possibly the United States. And this could pose a serious danger to the regime. Beyond that, the elimination of Zahedi may be the straw that breaks the camel's back, forcing Iran to change its regional priorities. They will find it difficult to continue with this policy of relative containment, even at the cost of taking risks for future escalation, whether directly or through its proxies, including Hezbollah. This is a good place to remind you to please continue to help us share the truth about what is happening here in Israel by clicking on the follow button, subscribing to our YouTube channel, sharing our videos, and following us on social media. And please continue to keep praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. Now, switching our focus to the Gaza Strip, the IDF has announced the completion of the operation to purge Hamas terror headquarters at Shifa Hospital in Gaza City. The operation was a great success, with hundreds of terrorists removed from the battlefield, including several senior field commanders of both Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Many were eliminated in fierce close-quarter battles, while others surrendered and gave up high-quality and valuable intelligence. On that, the operation has been completed. We can reveal to you that the methods used to take the terrorists inside the hospital by surprise, which was a key part of the plan. But first, let me explain about the reasons for going into the operation in the hospital in the first place. Israel's security system had learned that the hospital was being used by terrorists as a base of operations. They deliberately used civilian buildings and patients inside hospitals as human shields. Hundreds of terrorists were hiding inside the hospitals, venturing out to attack the IDF or launch rockets at Israel, and then running back inside to rest, rearm, and prepare another attacks. Clearly, this could not be allowed to continue. Second thing, how did the IDF quickly take control of the hospital? The IDF forces managed to surprise the terrorists during the initial raid because Hamas mistakenly thought that the forces moving in to surround them were moving to another point in the area. The commandos who moved into the hospital to engage the terrorists hiding inside managed to move in quickly before the terrorists had time to react. When the IDF forces arrived at the compound, there were 6,200 people inside the hospital. The mechanized forces, which surrounded the hospital to make sure no terrorists could get out and no terrorists could get in to help those already inside, managed to get in position in less than 10 minutes, while the Navy commandos moved in a short while later. Next, the commandos announced to those that are not involved to leave the hospital compound, and a passageway was opened. At the same time, an alternative building was erected with medical equipment to treat patients who could not be moved. This left a clear path for the commandos to engage the terrorists who remained, and that's what they started to do. The IDF statement says that Shifa was not a hospital that has a terrorist headquarters, but a terrorist headquarters that has a hospital within. Without question, the intelligence picture on the eve of the operation left no room for doubt. Shifa Hospital became a governmental and military command and control center for Hamas. On the night of the raid, fire was opened on the fighters for many buildings of the hospital. In subsequent searches of the hospital compound, weapons, ammunition, communications equipment, and documentation of the horrors of the massacre on October 7th was found. As I said before, many terrorists chose to surrender, but others wanted to go down fighting. In total, over 200 terrorists were eliminated and about 500 were arrested for questioning. This operation sends a clear message to every terrorist in the Gaza Strip that they should not try to use hospitals, schools, or other civilian buildings as a base. They should not try to use sick people or children as their human shields. Israel has ways to reach them while protecting the innocent and avoiding harm to civilian infrastructure. All of this knowledge and experience is about to be put to use in the IDF's preparations to move into Rafah, which is Gaza's southernmost city and is the last hub for Hamas. Yes, guys, this city is the last bastion of Hamas in the Gaza Strip. It has a displaced population of more than 1.2 million people, including the nearby 300,000 people who lived there before the war started. The place is like an overflowing, boiling, bubbling pot that threatens to explode at any moment. The infrastructure there is unable to accommodate the size of the population, and there are many people who can't find enough food to eat or clean water to drink or wash their hands. In the midst of all this chaos, Hamas is trying to maintain the last entity under its control after its attempt to re-establish itself as a functioning system at the Shifa Hospital failed. Dismantling Hamas's last refuge in Rafah can be done in one or two ways. A tactical military way, similar to what was done in Khan Yunis, is one option. If we put the complexity aside for a moment, from a military point of view, this is undesirable because it will not change the reality that already exists in most of the Gaza Strip, with Hamas dismantled but not conquered. The other option is a political and diplomatic route. I cannot predict the future, but any of these ways might happen, with Israel and the United States managing the problem together. Israel can take advantage of Rafah to achieve a strategic change in the Gaza Strip. This will happen by following a joint plan with the Americans and the friendly Arab countries who want to eradicate Hamas no less than Israel. It must begin with a coordinated evacuation of the population to an orderly tent city that will be under the control of the forces from the moderate Sunni Arab countries, especially the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, possibly also Jordan and Egypt. At the same time, a new humanitarian aid road will be opened from the Tel Sultan neighborhood to the Philadelphia corridor along the border between Gaza and Egypt. This would need to include cutting of Hamas's ability to take control of it in such a way that both the population and the humanitarian oxygen pipeline will be out of the hands of the terrorist organization Hamas. All this will be the first step in the plan. The second phase will allow the IDF to militarily take control of Rafah for a coordinated period of number of weeks to clean up the remnants of the Hamas battalions in it. The IDF will not remain there after that to avoid the situation of occupying the Gaza Strip. The third phase will allow international forces led by the US and including these moderate Sunni Arab states to establish a local police force, not Hamas, which will gradually begin to control Rafah, with Mawasi, then Khan Yunis, and finally in the north of the Gaza Strip. The coalition of states will take care of the training of the police and their equipment. In the fourth stage, the coalition will take care of the restoration of the Strip, and finally, within 5 years, the political future of Gaza will be decided. As you can see, this plan is very long and it involves multiple countries and many moving pieces. So we need your help. We need your help in prayer and in sharing the truth with the world of Israel's plans, of the United States plans, and most importantly, what is going on in this region. If you want to support our work, please do so by donating on the YouTube link or through our website. Your donations will help us create more videos from Israel. Together, we will share the truth to the world. This weekend, my series, My State, will be released, and this time we will talk about the results of the Houthi attacks on shippings in the Red Sea. Yesterday, we were in Eilat, in Israel's most southern city, and we were filming the My State episode about the Iranian attacks and the Houthis. And as we were there, an Iranian-backed terrorist group that is based in Iraq attacked the base with a long-range drone. Yes, they attacked the base of the Israeli Navy that was located 500 meters from where we were sleeping. Some minor damage was done to the building's base, but there were no casualties. In response to the incident, IDF spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Agari said that the attack was launched under the direction of Iran. The IDF is investigating the incident in order to learn, draw lessons, and improve our defense capabilities. And this is one more reason why it's so important to share the truth of what is happening in this region. So please help us by subscribing to this YouTube channel, sharing us on social media, and most importantly, join us in prayer for the peace of Jerusalem.
Hello, this is Mati here in Jerusalem with TBN Israel.
This is Yair Pinto from TBN Israel here in Jerusalem. TBN Israel is keeping viewers informed with Israel-focused news, culture, and what God is doing in this land.
Support TBN Israel today online at tbn.org/Israel. Thank you.